China's real estate market is facing its worst trading conditions in history, with buyers aggressively bargaining. After selling their homes, some sellers are left in debt, and owners are reluctant to hand over the property title, struggling in anguish on the spot.
这个就是我亏了50万。
This is how I lost 500,000 yuan. I bought a house in Zhoukou in 2019, and today I sold it. My heart feels empty. I didn't cry when I sold it yesterday, but today I couldn't hold back the tears. Moving out today was just too much to bear. I'm so heartbroken, thinking about these past few years. I woke up early and worked late, barely resting for 20 days a year, all just to pay off the mortgage. In the end, I didn't save any money, couldn't keep the house, and lived so exhausted.
The woman felt devastated after selling her home, but if she hadn't sold it, she would have continued struggling to pay the mortgage, further losing money. The final selling price didn't even cover the loan from the bank.
看惯了2年的房子，终于是卖出去了。
The house that's been on the market for 2 years has finally sold. Now that I'm home, how do I feel? I let out a sigh. I'm not sure whether I should be happy or should I cry. The happy part is that it's finally sold, and now I have money to pay off the mortgage on my other property and settle that debt. What makes me want to cry is that I lost money on this house. After factoring in interest, I've lost more than 300,000 yuan.
Since its peak in 2021, China's real estate market has declined by about 35%. Institutions like Goldman Sachs have warned that there is a risk of an additional 20 to 25% drop in the future. A large number of Chinese households are deeply trapped in the housing market. With the economy in decline, widespread unemployment, and the potential for mass defaults, a financial collapse could trigger major social upheaval. After years of continuous price drops, more and more homeowners are realizing that, given the current market conditions, the proceeds from selling their homes won't even cover the remaining mortgage balance. They end up having to pay tens of thousands of yuan out of their own pocket or even take out another loan. On Chinese social media, videos of people who bought homes a few years ago and are now openly complaining and expressing regret are rampant, many of them made by young people.
虽然我觉得我自己
Although I thought I could earn at least 1 to 2 million yuan in my lifetime, I made a decision in 2022 to buy a house here in October. But whose lifetime's worth of savings is lost? My parents' lifetime savings. I bought it for over 1 million yuan, and now it can be bought for just 400,000 yuan. How much did my parents even have to save up? I thought buying a house was the bravest decision I ever made, but I never expected this. When I heard that someone paid 400,000 yuan for the house I bought for over 1 million yuan, I wasn't devastated, but it really felt awful, especially because I can't let my parents know. My dad will be heartbroken. I still owe the bank over 400,000 yuan, so in total, I've lost 1 million. Sometimes people have to pay the price for their impulsive decisions.
An e-commerce blogger born in the 90s said,
千万不要贷款买房，否则你的下场跟我一样。
Never take out a loan to buy a house, or you'll end up like me. In 2009, the vlogger used savings from more than 2 years of work and 300,000 yuan from his family to secure a loan for a 958 square foot, 3-bedroom apartment. The property cost over 1.5 million yuan, with a down payment exceeding 400,000 yuan. At the time, owning a home in the city provided a sense of security. Purchasing a house after just a few years of employment in a second-tier city was viewed as a mark of success, earning him admiration as an impressive young man. That praise has since given way to a stark reality. The vlogger who works in e-commerce mentioned that the e-commerce industry is now in a serious downturn. Over the past 5 years, he has paid nearly 300,000 yuan in loan interest, but only managed to pay off 100,000 yuan of the principal. Now, he feels deep regret and self-blame for his decision to buy a house back then.
有些道理30岁才明白，已经有点晚了。
Some lessons are a bit too late to learn by the time you're 30. When I was 25, I saved 200,000 yuan and added another 200,000 yuan from my parents to take out a loan and buy a house. At the time, I never thought it would become a huge debt, and I even considered it an asset. It wasn't until later, when my income shrank, that I realized how wrong I was. It's something that takes money out of my pocket every month. What kind of asset is that? Middle-aged people might feel even more devastated. A vlogger in the skincare industry said,
The biggest regret of my life is buying this house when the pandemic started. I spent over 1 million yuan on it, and now no one wants it for even 500,000. I still owe 600,000 on the mortgage, and every month I have to pay 5,000 yuan for the next 14 years. The interest alone will be nearly 800,000. Buying this house was the biggest mistake of my life. I bought it for my child so they would have a place to study and not have to live in some remote area. Now, not only do I have to pay the mortgage every month, but I also have to pay thousands of yuan in property fees each year. On top of that, the skincare industry that I work in has severely declined each year. I'm barely holding on with the support of old customers. No matter how hard I try, it's all for nothing. I really have no choice but to sell the house. But the real estate agent said that in the current market, the house won't sell at all, no matter how much I lower the price. Now, besides the everyday expenses, my father has fractured his bones, and there are huge medical and care costs. I can't afford to spend a single extra penny. What I fear most right now is defaulting on a mortgage. If I can pay, then it's over. Not only will the house no longer be mine, but I'll also keep incurring expenses. All we can do is keep making money to pay off the debt. Make money, pay debt. Make money, pay debt. A lifetime of working for capital, like a beast of burden. My goodness.
Every day now, I feel like crying, but the tears have run dry. In May, I listed the apartment I'm living in for sale because I really couldn't afford to stay anymore. Now, it's the end of October, and I've had fewer than 10 potential buyers come to see the place. There hasn't even been anyone interested enough to talk further. The price has dropped again and again. When I first listed it, it was over 1 million yuan with a parking spot, but it just kept dropping. The agent said it coincided with a trade war in May, and that's when the clients just disappeared. I guess I've really had bad luck. I never thought I'd sell this apartment, especially because my child grew up here, and I've become attached to it myself. I originally intended to sell the other property with a mortgage, but that one's price is also dropping, and there's no interest there either. The homeowner said they feel torn inside, afraid to sell, but also afraid no one will buy. An investigation report by China's Economic Observer on October 31st also revealed the current state of China's real estate market. Many homeowners interviewed are facing the reality that the proceeds from selling their homes can't even cover the remaining mortgage balance. They are selling their homes amid a near collapse of the housing market, each with their own difficult reasons for doing so. There are also homeowners who, after finally selling their property, feel a sense of relief despite taking a huge loss.
最终是以亏损150万的价格。
In the end, I sold the house at a loss of 1.5 million yuan. I bought this house in 2016 for over 3.2 million yuan, and the parking spot cost an additional 200,000 yuan. So the total was over 3.4 million yuan. Last month, I sold it for 2.9 million yuan, including the parking spot, and ended up losing over 500,000 yuan. From 2016 to 2025, I paid off my mortgage for 9 years, with monthly payments of 15,000 yuan, 6,000 of which went towards the principal and over 8,000 towards interest. Each year, I paid the bank about 100,000 yuan in interest. After 9 years, I paid 900,000 yuan in interest. Adding that to the 550,000 yuan loss, I've lost around 1.5 million yuan in total. But after selling the house, I feel really relieved. I don't feel upset about the money I lost. It's a completely different feeling. It's as if the heavy burden has been lifted. Now, I walk with a lighter step.
我们19年入的房子，昨天终于卖出去了。
We bought our house in 2019 and it was finally sold yesterday. We paid over 1.3 million yuan for it, 127 square meters. We started planning to sell it the year before last and initially listed it at 1.2 million yuan. There were some buyers who came to see it, and the offers were around 1.15 million. But we felt the price was too low, so we didn't sell. After that, no one showed interest, so we lowered the price to 1.1 million. Then others dropped to 1.08 million and 1.05 million. We thought it was still too little, so we held off. We kept postponing until this year, but it was too hard to sell. In the end, we couldn't even sell it for 1.05 million.
The vlogger said that, fortunately, it was eventually sold through an agent, but they only received 950,000 yuan from the sale. Many real estate agents have witnessed this tragic and bittersweet drama of Chinese homeowners' lives.
现在房子难卖到什么程度啊？
Just how hard is it to sell a house right now? I was negotiating a deal recently. but it fell through. The landlord's asking price was 600,000 yuan, and the buyer offered 500,000 yuan. The landlord said he would sell it for 550,000 yuan, but then the price dropped to 480,000 yuan, and the buyer said no. The landlord got anxious and said, "If you want it, I'll sell it to you for 460,000 yuan. Let's sign the contract now." But the buyer also had his limits. He got up and walked out and then told me, "Same house, same layout. I can find one for 400,000 yuan in Luoyang."
刚带完客户看完房子啊，客户看了很喜欢。
I just finished showing a house to a client. The client really liked it and didn't want to leave. I had already agreed on the price with a homeowner a few days ago, so I told them we could go to our office to sign the contract since the price was basically settled. But the homeowner said, "Why don't you guys come back and think it over? I'm not in a hurry. Buying a house is a big decision. Take your time." The real reason behind this is that the client had already decided on the house, but the homeowner thought the price we discussed earlier was too low, so they wanted to hold off and see if anyone would offer a higher price. I really don't understand in the current market. You have a buyer ready to purchase, but you still won't sell. What exactly are you trying to do? After a few days, the client definitely won't buy anymore. Once the excitement of wanting the house fades, their enthusiasm is gone. Eventually, the price will be lowered again. Amid the sharp decline in China's real estate market, the conflicts between homeowners, developers, and banks have also come to light.
房子我不要了，给你们银行，但剩下贷款我一分都不会还。
I don't want the house anymore. Take it back. It's yours. I won't pay a single penny of the remaining loan. Why should I? After paying 1 million yuan for the down payment and 700,000 in monthly repayments, now I still owe you 1 million. Today, we need to make this clear. Miss Wu, the reason I called you for a meeting today is to address this issue. Regarding your house, even if we initiate the foreclosure process, based on the current market price, there will still be an estimated shortfall of about 1 million yuan. So what we hope for is...
王经理，先别说缺口。
Miss Wong, don't talk about the shortfall yet. Let's do the maths first. I paid 1 million yuan down payment, right? Over the years, I've paid a total of at least 700,000 yuan in monthly payments, without delay. Now tell me, isn't this 1.7 million yuan of hard-earned money a guarantee for your bank? Miss Wu, the down payment and monthly payments are what you're required to fulfill when buying the house. I don't care whether it's normal or not. Let me ask you, do you bankers run a business or not? If it's business, then there should be both gains and losses. Now, because the market is so bad and the house price has dropped, you tell me that my 1.7 million yuan cushion isn't enough and all the risk falls on me? Where in the world does a business exist and only makes profits and never take losses?
现在我还不上房贷。
I can't pay the mortgage anymore. Take the house back. And I don't need the down payment. We'll call it even, right? I'm sorry, but there's no such policy. According to the regulations, even if you don't want the house, the mortgage still has to be paid. You guys are being too unreasonable. In ancient times, everyone knew about pawn shops, and they still exist today. The principle has been the same from the past to the present. Collateral loans. As long as I no longer want the collateral, I shouldn't have to pay the loan. Let me give you an example. If I take my car to a pawn shop for a 100,000 yuan loan and I don't repay the loan, they could just take my car and that's it. We're clear, and that's the simple logic. Why doesn't this work in the real estate industry? The homeowner stated angrily that without the bank's mortgage, he could never have afforded the house. The bank's approval of the loan indicated that the property was worth the price. Now that he has stopped payments, the bank should simply repossess the house, whether completed, under construction, or unfinished, and it should no longer concern him. I don't want the house, and I can even forego the down payment. This kind of logic has been practiced by pawn shops for thousands of years. Why can't your bank do the same? Since the COVID-19 outbreak in 2020, China's economy has suffered from strict lockdown policies imposed by the government. Crackdowns on private enterprises and education institutions have also driven unemployment higher and incomes lower. These factors have sparked widespread mortgage defaults in the real estate sector. Over the past 3 years, the economy has failed to recover, leaving more middle-class workers jobless. Observing these challenges, increasing numbers of homeowners now plan to halt their mortgage payments.
还还个屁的房贷呀！
Paying mortgage? Today was an eye-opener. On my way home from work, I ran into a neighbour who was moving out, so I casually asked him about his situation. He bought the house in 2019 for over 2.5 million yuan, and with renovations, it cost him more than 3 million yuan. Over the past 5 years, he's paid off more than 800,000 yuan in mortgage payments. Now, guess how much it's worth? Just over 1.6 million yuan. If he doesn't sell, he will have to keep working for the bank for another 25 years. If he does sell, it won't even be enough to cover the remaining mortgage balance. 5 years of hard work wasted, and he's losing tens of thousands of yuan. Did he buy a house or a nightmare? Ordinary people's hard-earned money has all gone into the bottomless pit of developers and banks. How many people have been trapped in this? Selling or not selling, there's no way out. It's really frustrating.
Pay your damn mortgage? I'm not paying anymore. I bought my house for 1.45 million yuan. Today, I went out to pick up a package, and my neighbor was moving out. I asked him how much he sold his for. He said 700,000 yuan. 700,000 yuan isn't even enough to cover the bank's default fee. Does that make sense? Let's not even talk about the interest I've paid over the years. If I don't sell, I'll have to borrow just to keep paying the mortgage. I'm already losing every month, and now I still have to keep paying. The risk is just too high. Anyway, I'm done paying. If anyone wants to pay, they can do it themselves. That's exactly what one of my mortgage clients said to me. Tell me, doesn't that hit hard? Some young people who haven't bought a house feel lucky for not getting caught in the situation.
我以前只听说有人贷款买房。
I used to only hear about people taking out loans to buy houses, but recently I even heard of someone taking out a loan to sell a house. They still owe over 900,000 yuan on the mortgage. But now the house can only be sold for just over 700,000 yuan. So I've come to a conclusion. Don't feel inferior or anxious just because of your own laziness.
A vlogger who took 2 years to sell their house shared that they bought it in Guangdong in 2019 for nearly 1.8 million yuan, but now it's only worth 700,000 yuan. They bluntly stated that the real estate market has completely collapsed. Just like Jack Moss said, future homes will truly be as cheap as cabbage. The vlogger explained why they decided to sell the house at such a huge loss.
我为什么决心一定亏这么多钱，一定要把它卖掉呢？
It's simple. First, you can see the current market conditions. Second, there are too many houses being built, far more than can ever be used. Another factor is that the population is constantly declining, so there won't be anyone to buy your property in the future. And lastly, our house will only get older. If you don't sell it now, it'll definitely lose value and become a burden. According to my discussions with real estate professionals, the new houses being built no longer have shared spaces. They don't have any hidden extra space like before. Back then, we had a huge shared area. Now, they make the rooms bigger, the balconies larger. Some 90 square meter apartments even have 3 bedrooms. Think about it. They're only considering selling their new homes. They haven't even thought about your secondhand properties. Don't live in that daydream. Understand? The vlogger also mentioned that one of the most serious issues is the property tax, which is expected to be introduced within the next 1 or 2 years. If that tax is implemented, homeowners will be even worse off. He bluntly stated that the Chinese real estate market is a trap, a game that ensnares your entire family's finances, withdraws your future, and leaves most participants battered, some even bankrupt. A real estate agent blogger shared a story about a client and gave a piece of advice to the people.
今天下午卖了一套房子。
This afternoon, I sold a house, and the homeowner completely broke down. She was crying, and it was truly heartbreaking to watch. When she was signing the contract, her hand was shaking. Do you know how much money she lost on this house over the past 5 years? She bought it in 2020 at the peak of the real estate market for 1.28 million yuan. Today, we negotiated down to almost 590,000, and the client refused to offer any more. The client said if the homeowner didn't agree, they wouldn't buy it. In the end, she decided to sell. And when she was signing the contract, I saw her hand shaking.
The vlogger noted that society teaches young people from an early age that buying a house brings security and happiness, yet she questioned whether the house itself truly provides that security. She urged that if you lack the funds, you should avoid purchasing one. If buying is essential, she outlined 3 key guidelines. First, keep monthly mortgage payments below 1/3 of your income. Second, maintain emergency savings for at least 2 years. And third, never select a property that stretches beyond your ability to repay. China expert Yue Shan argues that the hardships faced by homeowners and a surge in mortgage defaults stems not merely from the market shifts or economic slumps, but from flaws in the land ownership system and institutional meddling under China's one-party rule. The state-controlled land regime fosters supply monopolies and fiscal reliance, while authoritarian governance heightens official business collusion and oversight lapses, resulting in the systematic erosion of public wealth. A clear illustration is a 70-year leasehold on the homes, which underscores how homeownership amounts to a mere illusion for ordinary citizens. In the third quarter of 2025, second-hand housing prices in China fell across all regions. By September, prices in 100 cities had declined for 41 straight months compared to the prior months. Over the first 9 months, these second-hand home prices dropped a cumulative 5.8%. China expert Wang He observes that recent figures show the Chinese Communist Party's Stop the Decline and Stabilize policy, announced by its political bureau on September 26, 2024, has failed to take hold. A recent report on 77 A-share listed real estate firms in China for the first 3 quarters of 2025 indicates that more than half operated at a loss. Among them, 41 companies suffered a combined net profit decline exceeding 87 billion yuan. Numerous major developers now confront financial crises, including real estate leader Vanke, which finds itself in severe distress. Senior fellow at the New York-based World Policy Institute, James H. Nolt, pointed out in his article China's Economic Slump is Here to Stay that the collapse of China's real estate bubble is ultimately inevitable.